All right, hello and welcome. We're trying something new. This is me and my brother Robbie. We're doing a little new series where we're gonna basically have each other test things out, like of the other person's interest. So this one, the first one that we're trying, I got Robbie to watch the first episode of One Piece. Um, One Piece being one of the longest running TV series, and it also is a written like a manga, which is like, kind of like a comic. And so I'm 900 episodes in. He's going in with zero information besides like I'll talk about it sometimes. And yeah, I guess I'll just jump right into it. Robbie, you can give your first impressions of the episode. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it was very interesting to start. Like, it's a classic adventure type show, and I'm already like, oh, I'm interested to see what happens in the next episode because it ended off on a cliffhanger. And yeah, I mean, the different characters that were introduced, like it seems like this the start of the building, but it's definitely was interesting, and it's like crazy, like they like draw all that. Is that
Yeah,
how it works? So
yeah.
that's
So the
that's
original
pretty
author
insane.
draws it all out, and then this like the animation studio just like reanimates everything. But it is crazy. I think it's a very good first episode. Like I didn't think that the first episode as much happened as it like what actually ends up happening. Like it does give you like a very good
Yeah,
start. It introduces a couple characters, and it also kind of drops like breadcrumbs, which I think is really useful. Like just given the scale of the series, it's crazy to think that like when the author Oda, like when he first started this, like he knew all this stuff was going to happen. Like he had planted these seeds at the beginning that still haven't been like harvested. But yeah, if you want to tell us, try to go through from your perspective basically what happens in the episode. I wrote out kind of a synopsis, so we'll run
mm-hmm.
through from your perspective what happened, and then I can kind of
All
run
right,
through it also. But go ahead.
all right. So basically, there's this pirate ship who ends up taking over this just casual trip. It looks like rich people like going through an
Cruise
area
ship,
of the
yeah.
ocean, and then basically the pirate ship ends up coming through. Meanwhile, there's also a girl who I know from you saying before is one of the main characters who is plans to, I guess, steal from this pirate ship that is stealing from the ship.
Yep.
And they go and raid it, and then you're introduced a little to a couple of the characters. The behemoth like mob boss lady
Alvida,
who is
yeah.
a frightening character.
She's a unit.
um she is the insane. But and then you are introduced to the person who is their basically their servant,
Yeah.
and
Koby.
Koby, who's always bullied, it seems.
Yeah.
Um, and then you're introduced to the main character, Luffy, who
hmm
you can tell right away. As soon as he came out of a barrel, he knocked out one of the guys, and then the other two people that were with them tried to attack them, and you can tell he's got some aura to him.
That's true.
That'll say. Um,
What's your sort of first impressions of him as a character? Like just from those couple like even beginning scenes.
he seems like a very happy guy. Like he's just going straight for his goal. Like he's like, I'm gonna do it. I don't care if I fail. I'm just gonna try, and then does what he has to do. And he already knocked out multiple people, so it seems like he's a pretty electric character. He's
hmm
got that dog in him, as they say.
It's true. Some would say that. Okay, you can go ahead. Keep running through the synopsis.
Yeah, and then after that, the two other guys that he ended up fighting, and then they went away. They go to tell Almeida, um,
Alvida, yeah, their
Almeida,
captain, the unit.
the captain, the massive the unit, and they basically are like, oh man, there's someone down there that you gotta see, and she comes crashing through the floorboards while Luffy's snacking on some apples. while the other guy's whining to
Yep.
him. Um, but basically, she comes crashing through, and she like starts to confronting him, like, "Oh, who do you think you are?"
Hmm.
And ends up, Luffy gets out of there, even though he jumps out the top with the other guy, and basically ends up fighting the rest of the crew. And you learn he now has this crazy ability to like stretch, and he can his arm can just grow like crazy distances, and then he can come in with like a haymaker and just absolutely knock
Hmm.
out so many people. And then he's talking with her on the deck, and he ends up fighting her again and knocks her way out into the ocean before the Marines end up coming, and they make their getaway along with the other person who
The
we
mysterious red-haired woman.
yes, we were briefly introduced to, who makes off with all the loot from the pirate ship.
Yep. That was. I mean, yeah. You covered everything. That was beautifully put. Um, Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, you literally covered all the things I've written down. The only thing that I think is just, it's a very important scene, sort of when Luffy and Koby are like first talking, and Luffy just says his dream, just says what he wants, and that's he wants
Mm-hmm.
to be the king of the pirates, and Koby is just absolutely flabbergasted by it, being that Luffy doesn't have a crew, doesn't have a ship, doesn't have anything, yet he's being like, I'm gonna become the king of the pirates. I'm gonna become the most powerful person in the entire world. And basically, Koby gives him 1,000 reasons why that can't happen. Then Luffy just like shuts him up and just like punches him. Um, yeah,
Yeah, he's like, I'm just gonna do it.
yeah. So I think yeah, like that contrast of character, very awesome, and you see Luffy immediately inspire Koby, and then who eventually Koby stands up to Alvida, which is
Yes.
a very fun scene. But yeah, okay. So did the episode did does the series feel at all similar to anything that you've watched or read or anything before?
Um, trying to think. I mean, not particularly. Like, it does seem like the class, like, well, like the animations, like, I know this is like different, but it's like the graphics in that range, like when it was created, kind of remind me like of the Family Guy like type graphics, like that animation.
Yeah.
From kind of, I'm sure it kind of from the different time periods, but
Yeah,
also
it's like late 90s, so I mean I feel
yeah.
like yeah, same sort of era.
And then it's a classic like adventure type thing. So I'm like, I don't think there's anything really something like that, like specifically that I could really put it to. But I think it's, yeah, I think that's the cool thing. It's like something different.
Yeah, I think it is also kind of hard to pin it down in the way of like there isn't, considering how like popular like the concept of pirates are, there really isn't much pirate like stuff that exists. Like there's obviously Pirates of the Caribbean, but it's like it's
Hmm.
not Pirates of the Caribbean at all. But like that's the only
Yeah,
piece, that's like the most famous piece of pirate media
yeah.
along with One Piece. So it is interesting of like there's not a ton of pirate stuff, and I have a quote that I'll get into later, which talks a little bit more about it from the author. But this question is, I'm giving you another question that's basically impossible to answer. But does it feel like there's room for 1,000 plus more episodes?
I mean, it since I know it exists, I think so. Just because
Yes.
it's like such a wide, world, it seems, and it's there's so many things you can do with it, I guess. And I'm like, they're kind of just starting like on a tiny spot of the world, like just on a little spot of water, and there's so much they can go into.
And I like it, like I was saying earlier, like the how he drops the breadcrumbs is so awesome. Like he mentions the Grand Line, he mentions Zoro, he talks about like bounties, he talks about so many little things that like those are even just like very early things, but like as you build, you sort of like there'll be something that'll happen in an episode, and then the payoff will be 200 episodes later. Like it's so what like meticulously created. So that's something that I think is so awesome about it.
Yeah, that yeah,
Yeah,
no, that is really cool how he does that.
yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite parts. We talked. I was gonna ask like how you felt about the visuals. Um, I guess you kind of already answered that, but how about like the character design, the very like funky kind of design?
Yeah, I mean, it seems very good, especially that's late '90s. Like that's definitely good, and it's like the different characters. Like you have the unit lady,
Yeah.
you have Luffy with his stretch arms, and the other pirates. It's like the exact like it's interesting. It's like the exaggerated style, like when they're like opening, like when the guy's screaming or something, or saying like "whoa" or something. You know.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It just gets continually crazier, and I love the design. I love exaggerated is a great word for it. Like even just like the people's smiles and like their facial
Mm-hmm.
expressions are so like over the top, and it's pretty entertaining. How about we watched in English. We weren't sure what we were gonna do. I figured it'd be easier to follow in English, which I'm glad we did.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
I've watched it all in English. I know a lot of people are very like only watching the Japanese, but for me it's easier to watch in the English. But how did you feel about like kind of the voice acting, and did the voices like bother you in like that like stereotypical like anime voice way? Like I know I like it because it doesn't get super like whiny and like the style of voices that
Mm-hmm.
sometimes get on my nerves. But
Yeah, no, I liked it. I didn't really like find anything wrong with it. Like I just didn't really yeah think anything particularly about it. I just thought it was good. Like it meshed. You know, it worked with the characters. I felt like.
yeah, I mean definitely. I think that's also a reason I've been able to stick with it is that the voices don't get too crazy, and I appreciate how they're done. I know there's been a lot of different versions, so this version is the best of like the English one for me. Like it fits very smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all right, I'm gonna give you a quick two question mini quiz. All
Okay,
right,
okay.
first one, they mention it only a little bit. What is a devil fruit?
That's the it gives like powers. Like it made him like super stretchy. Um, and the main boss lady, she said, "Oh, I'd only heard about these in like the legends, basically. Like
Hmm.
she didn't know they actually like existed. So it seems like it's some sort of rare material."
Yeah,
And
I mean that's perfect. Um, then so at the beginning of the episode, what happens in like the sort of flashback and sort of intro?
they basically show what the One Pieces it looked like, and like it was like a treasure type thing, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it kind of gives the context of like the era that they're in. So, being that like this guy was executed, he was the king of the pirates, and all you basically learn is that he was executed, and he had found the One Piece, and he basically just gets executed, and it sets him saying like him basically being like, "You want my treasure? It's somewhere, you have to find it," sets off this pirate era of like, and that's the era that we
Mm-hmm.
are in at this point in the
Yeah.
series. Okay, so did great on the quiz. I'll go through some
A
facts. The first
plus.
one that I thought was A plus. First thing that I thought was like interesting, which like it makes sense, but like that Luffy is voiced by a woman, I just think is interesting. Um,
Oh, really?
a lot of anime voices, I guess, like if you like to get that sort of like teenage voice, it's almost always a woman, which is interesting. Like I'm pretty sure I might be pretty sure Ash from Pokemon is also voiced by a woman.
Oh, really? Huh.
Um, but yeah, then I'm gonna go here. I'll give just some facts. So basically, the manga, so the written version, debuted in 1997. Still active in 2025. The guy that writes it, like he hand draws these issues every week, and it basically comes out in like a newspaper format. Like every week, he comes out with them a new chapter. He's been consistently making 40 to 50 chapters per year. So he works. He's known to work like 18-hour days, take off a couple days per year if he's forced by his health. Like the amount of content that he produces is
That's
ridiculous, and he's been doing this for 25 years. Like it is crazy. Um, yeah, I mean, just some cool facts to be like, this is what like it's the best like world building. That's like kind of world like renowned. That's like the thing. It's like the way that he builds these worlds are just like insane. But yeah, so much going on, and there's just so much history to it.
yeah, that's always like crazy, like how these authors think about these things, especially to have that much content to make 1,000+ episodes is actually insane. Plus doing, having all like those issues every week, like that's like crazy to actually be able to keep sustaining that
Yeah, it's
and not
the
even be done.
longevity. The longevity of it is when the GOAT debate
Yeah.
is brought up, and LeBron for his longevity, it's what we're talking about.
Hey.
That's all right. So I'm gonna my last part of sort of I have a quote. So this is I have the first book in front of me. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
read. So he is quotes basically. One of my favorite parts about like manga is that like the author will kind of do like life check-ins randomly between the chapters, which is cool. So you kind of just like get his thoughts. But this is his original quote with like as he's making the story. So he says, "I've been gathering and reading a bunch of reference materials to do this pirate story. However, the pirates that I admired so much in my youth hardly ever left written records of their history. I guess they were too busy having fun on their adventures that they forgot to leave their stories for future generations. That's the trouble with those darn pirates." I feel like that quote just encapsulates so much and of like it really captures the like core of like that for him this is just like fun. Like the he wants it to appear fun and he wants to make people smile and that's really just as you boil it down and that's kind of just it. Um so yeah, I mean that's the quote that he kind of starts it off with, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, that is cool, and that he's kept this for that. That's what year was that written in?
That was
Nine.
1997, the year that he made it. So
Wow.
it's kind of just like
Yeah.
him talking about him setting it up and I don't know. It's cool to think like that he's like was trying to find reference material and he was just kind of like there is nothing, so I guess I'm gonna have to make it all up. Um,
Yeah, that
that's
that is
why,
pretty crazy. It's like the creativity.
yeah, it's unbelievable to be like. I mean, I don't even know what that creative process is like of like planning and stuff, but it's so interesting. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just end it off of with my sort of quick run through of my journey with One Piece. Basically, a lot of my friends are huge anime fans, and I was kind of always just like a hater, skeptic. Didn't get why people would watch. The voices were the biggest thing that really, really was a turnoff for me. So that's why we're with some that I've tried recently. Like I just can't do it for the voices. But I've always enjoyed like pirates and Vikings. So I started with this show called Vinland Saga, which was suggested by my boy Matty V. Um,
Oh, Maddie
and
V.
I loved it. It's Vikings, and then I eventually kind of just after my friends were talking about it, I was like, you know what, let me try One Piece. Let me see. And my roommate from college, Nick, was also a big One Piece fan. So yeah, I mean, it kind of just like started as a test, and I just kind of kept watching. Like I've watched, I think I started like maybe like September, October area, probably October last year, and I'm up to 900. So I mean, making
Wow.
good progress, and I've read some. I've probably watched, but I've watched like a good majority, but I've read some also. So I mean, yeah, it's I'm excited to keep going. It's crazy, especially like the graphics are just changed so much, and it looks awesome now. But yeah, so I guess I'll give you the floor to kind of give your final thoughts. Would you watch a second episode, etc.?
Yeah, I think I definitely watched the second episode. Like the first one was like very interesting, and also it's anime seems to be have gotten like extremely popular in the last like couple years, especially. Like I feel like it's gotten more and more people are getting into it, so it's now that's probably multiplied the popularity of it too, and it's definitely yeah, because I know like a bunch of my friends are definitely into it and watch a bunch of those shows. So it's definitely it's definitely very interesting. I definitely would want to watch another episode. I want to know, what happens now.
Yeah,
It's cool.
you
It's
get
an
you get
adventure
addicted,
type
and then you
show. Yeah.
yeah yeah. And I
So
know you talked about how like you're obviously like huge into sports and sports cards, and like yeah, I remember you showed me like the anime sports cards. It's like it's cool to
yeah,
see like combinations of mainstream stuff, and also that like so many athletes are very into anime too, which is cool. Like getting to
yeah,
see more personality from these athletes, I think is very cool.
definitely. And it's definitely like especially like those sports cards I showed you, like the design. It just makes it just looks so cool.
Yeah, definitely. Um, but yeah, I mean that'll be it for this episode. If you made it this far, appreciate it. This is our first episode of this series. We'll have another one coming out as well where Robbie gets me to try something. So yeah, that'll be this episode wrap. Thank you so much for listening. Yeah. Bye everybody.
Peace.